competing in, we are repeating it, we are believing in. It's time for us to shift our mind from best in the world to best for the world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. It creates a new world to mind a shift, intentionality, perceptuality, conceptuality. We are choosing to shift our mind to best for the world, best for our world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional.
Hey, hi, and welcome to Alnarp. My name is Carina Eriksson, and I will guide you through this wonderful park and tell you a little about how important it is with nature and health. So I have two companions with me that will tag along on a small stroll into the park, and then we'll also try some forest bathing. So you will tag along on that as well. So let's start walking. And to make it the best out of it, you should walk really slow, and I mean really slow. It's called fox walk, and then you feel the surface underneath your feet, and we walk really, really slow. And if this is a challenge for you, then you really need to do this to be able to get less stressed, so to say. Normally we do this under silence, but I don't think it would be that fruitful for you if we do this totally in silence. I will tell you a little bit about the health effects while we do the stroll. 2018, they made a small study at the University of Michigan where half the students had a task to go out in a green area, in a forest, in a park, or just in a green area where they felt comfortable and could relax. They had to do this for 8 weeks, 3 times a week, for 30 minutes each time. The rest of the class was living a normal student life during this period. And after these 8 weeks, the students' stress level has decreased with 20 up to 25%, which is quite a lot during this period. They also had better sleep and better results on their examiners. Health and nature is nothing new. We come from nature, we are nature, but we have forgotten this in our industrialization period. And more research is now going back to nature. We need to be in nature to feel calm, feel grounded. And forest bathing is one of these experiments that has been done. It comes from Japan and was a way to stop the office death, as they call it in Japan, that started in the end of 70s, starting in the 80s. And they have these forests in Japan that are certified for forest bathing, where they do all the research. You have to leave a blood sample or a saliva sample when you enter the park. You do a forest bath, and this takes approximately 3 hours. Then you leave the forest and you leave a new sample of blood or saliva. And this research has been ongoing now for 40 years. So they have a lot of facts and see that this is very, very good for us as humans. We need to have the nature's different shapes to be able to relax. we are not made for these squared and high, hard areas. We should be out in the nature. And there are so many health effects by doing this. And that is because you use all your senses doing it. You need to see, you need to feel, you need to smell, you need to taste to reveal what you do. And we will go down to the trees. The older the trees are where you are, the more effect it has on your body and mind. So we will go down a bit further into the park where it's not so many kids running around. So we keep on doing that. And when we get to a tree, I will explain a lot about the health effects that the tree has. If you go into a Swedish forest, they say that your heartbeat slows down with about, don't take me on the numbers, but with at least 20% if the forest is older than 7,500 years. The best effect is a normal Christmas tree forest and the birch forest that we have in Scania. Those are amazing for this. So we need to find a birch, I think. It's a lot of oaks here. Mainly oaks, to be honest. But I see a birch down there. So we will go down to that tree. So for the people that are going with me now, I want them to listen to what they hear when we stroll down to the tree. And can you smell? Do you recognize the smell that we smell? Wild garlic. It's amazing how much it smells from the wild garlic now. But it's forbidden to pick it here. So even if people are still doing it. Yeah. You have a lot of bird sounds around us. I don't know if you can hear them. I also want you to look around. So you, Roland, that have the camera, you can very slowly go up to the trees and maybe avoid the sun. Because this is a very important part of forest bathing, to look up into the trees as well. It's quite a mighty oak here on the left-hand side. Let's continue. There are a lot of books that you can study more about this. There are a Swedish book called Närmare naturen that is a really amazing book about how nature is good for us. You can have forest bathing as a health benefit in Sweden, as well as outdoor yoga. Forest bathing is scaring a lot of people when you say it the first time, because they think that you need to go out into the forest and actually take a bath. But what you do is that you're using all the senses. You are bathing in all the senses in your body. There we have a birch tree. Let's go down there. These oaks are really, really old. All these trees are connected in the roots. It's actually called wood wide web because the roots are actually speaking to each other. They are telling each other what the other tree is needed. And they are getting help from different kind of funguses. All trees has their own sets of funguses that belongs to them. And the funguses are nursing the trees with the correct nutrition that they need. So if a tree needs something extra, it actually tells that to the rest of the trees around it. And then all the trees is helping this tree to get the nutrition it needs. It's quite amazing. We have several improvements on that. We have one very close to where I live, where one of the tulip trees get on fire. And the bark is totally black. It's like stone. And it still have a lot of flowers every year because the other two trees has been helping this tree for the last 5 years with the nutrition it needed. So it's very vivid and alive as well. So that's quite amazing. Is it good light in there? When we go down there? It's not too sunny over there. That will work good. Yeah. And a tree actually has feelings as we have. So if you scratch a tree on its bark, it's like doing like that on our own skin. And if you break a branch, it's like actually breaking our own arm. We don't think about this. I have a friend that is working with trees, and she had to stop reading this book, The Secret Life of a Tree. But they actually have feelings.
We talked about that the other day, that it's time now. Many people take branches and put inside and so on. And we actually said, but we really can't do that anymore because it feels like it hurts.
Yeah, it actually does hurt the tree.
Hurt, of course.
Yeah. So think about it more than once if you really need to do it, I say. So we will go down, we go to this tree. When you touch a tree, that is the thing that you also normally do during the forest bathing. Touch a tree. After 30 seconds, you need to do it for more than 30 seconds. The tree thinks that it has been like invaded by insects. And then the tree starts to send out something called, in Swedish it is phytoncidor. I'm not sure about that English word for it, to be honest. But those phytoncidor sites is actually boosting our immunity system. And it's not actually just this tree now starting. Every tree within 50 meters radius start to send out this. So they have seen a lot of research now that if you have gone through a cancer diagnosis and start to rehabilitate after that, you get well much faster if you go out in the woods into a forest and go around and touch the trees and have the relaxation time out in the nature. And you get healthy and stronger faster. It's so amazing. They have also seen that if you are in a hospital and in the ward with a green area outside, like the treetops or just the green area, so to say, they get healthier, they heal faster than if you're in a ward with like a parking lot or another building in front of the room. It's quite amazing that it is such a big difference on this area. Exactly. We have a place in South Sweden called Sankt Larsparken. It's in the south part of Lund. And when they grounded this place, they actually built a park around the buildings, because the doctor, the main doctor there, he knew about this. This hospital was primary for mental health issues. And the park was arranged, they arranged like a park around this building, an English park with a lot of flowers, a lot of trees. And the one that was the intendant for, or how you now pronounce that, I don't know, Naturst, that was here in Alnarp, he helped this doctor choosing the plants and the trees for this park. So we have a very nice connection together with Alnarpsparken. And they are quite similar in many ways in the plants and so on. But when they grounded the park, they planted 37,000 trees and bushes. And they are still there. I would say that 80% of the trees are still there. They are amazingly wonderful. And the patients, or the clients, they were actually working in this park because that was a part of their rehabilitation. So there were 200 people working in the park, in the kitchen garden, in the fruit garden, and they also had a small wild animal stock with reindeers and so on. So they were totally had everything that they needed to live in this park, and that was all the way up to the 1950s. And then something happened in the Swedish psychiatrist things, and I don't want to go into that. But we were aware in the 1970s that green areas was good for our health. And for some reason, we forgot about that during the way. We are so much into faster, quicker, more things to own and so on. So we forgot about this. So I was thinking that we should sit down and you will get some exercises to do. I hope you're not too cold. No, good. So we try to sit so you get warm by the sun, because we have too much shades now. So go out, so we sit in the sun. So let's walk to a sunny. It's quite sunny there. It's so amazing with the smell. I actually have something to sit on, so for you, take both. They are so thin. Find a nice position to sit in. And we will start with a very short breath exercise that we will do 10 times. And this is an exercise that actually the Navy SEAL in the US is using before they are going into a task and mission. It makes them focus in a very good way. So this is something that I use in a daily life as well, if you now have a hard day in the office. Which we all have. So we will breathe in and out during a 4-second period. I will count for you, and we only use the nose. So we breathe in and out through the nose. I need to take away some. Sorry about this. So we start to breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 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 2, 3, 4. Did you feel how the shoulders just fell down? It's quite amazing how such a small exercise actually can help you relax so much. I need to have my little note, my sheeting paper. We now sit still, and the first thing I want you to do now is to react on what's around you. Be aware what is around you, and that you can also, you that sits on Zoom now and look into the monitor, see what Roland is having on the screen. I think that is quite nice, so you don't have to have the focus on me maybe for that part, but to sit and wonder, be amazed about the small things that is around you, the small grass that is now coming up on the ground, the branches. We are today so afraid of doing nothing. So you can look at this little sprout that you have here. It's wonderful to see. And starts coming. A bird feather. It's a lot of things. When you do the forest bathing, you also feel, not only in your heart, but with your skin. So feel how the clothes is touching your body, how the sun, you're normally outside, so how the sun feels against your skin, if the wind, if you can feel the wind. You need to use all the senses when you do the bathing in the forest. And when you do this, you normally get guided. And when you get guided, your mind has to be here and now. Your mind cannot be anywhere else. You need to listen into what I say, and you need to be right here, right now. And that is how you heal your mind. Because you don't let your mind wander away. You're right here and right now. So I want you now to listen as far away as you can and see if you can recognize any sounds. Are the natural sounds or sounds that shouldn't be there? And you that are watching this can also do this inside as well. Now I want you to listen a little bit closer, like within 20 meters around you. Do you hear anything new when you are listening in any closer? And now I want you to listen as close as you can to your head. Do you hear the wind touching your hair? I think it actually heard me because now it's quite windy in the microphones, I think. It's quite a nice taste, to be honest. The first grass that comes up. It's a very green taste, yeah. It's a very mild spinach taste, or flavor, maybe you should call it. We are watched. Something that is really nice to taste when you're out in the forest a little bit later now. It's the sprouts from the birch tree when it's on the ground. It tastes like very fresh cabbage. Normal Swedish vitkål. Yeah, the first cabbage that you get in the autumn. The sprouts from the birch is tasting the same, and it's very nice to pick and put in a salad. The green part of the leaves, when they also just opens up on the birch, so it's like small trumpets, that it's also really tasty to it. And birch tree is one of the leaves that you can actually eat all year round as a human. So it's quite cool to put some of those in a salad and so on, to bring in the nature at home. But that is a normal part of, yeah, the mouse ears. And the birch is the best, I would say. Do you have any questions about being out and doing
I think it's interesting
nothing?
with the that you could actually measure the effect. You talked about the heart rate going down X%. Are there other things you can measure in your body that changes?
Roland just mentioned that it's quite interesting to see that it is possible to measure that our heart rate is going down when we are entering a forest. I know that that is not the truth for some people, because some people get the opposite effect when they enter a forest, because they get scared. Then of course the heart rate goes up, the stress levels goes up. My mission is to get people out into the nature so they can feel relaxed and calm when they're getting out. Because if you have never done something, you are a bit insecure and not comfortable. So I really like to get people out and do this for the first time. And when they have done this with me, they also get a small note that tells them how to guide on their own. And in 5 very easy steps, because you don't need to make it as a big thing. But But back to your question, is there other effects that we have? Yes, we know that the studies now talks about vitamin N as in nature, because the nature actually boosts our immunity defense mechanism. It gets our mind more relaxed. So if you have a depression, they can see that they getting more happy being outdoors. I am a part of a project called Häng med ut. So I work with people as a nature guide that has some kind of mental illness. It's very different variations, and everyone is doing it on their level, so to say. If they have a bad day, then they can just lay down in a hammock and just be. If they want, they can be more active and go around and smell and pick things. But just to be out is very relaxing for your mind. And people with a bad mental well-being, they feel better after this. Yeah. So there is actually a project with a part of this project where I have met people that was very suicidal. There was no meaning to live. After a year in this project, he has come back and he is so proud, and he's out in the nature. He has a purpose now. He is out in the forest of Genarp, outside Genarp, where they have a bike trail. And he now has a mission to be there for a couple of days a week to check out so there are not branches on the track so people can get hurt. And that is a way for him to manage life. He have a mission outdoors because he really feels good when he's outdoors. So they found a purpose for him. So he's not suicidal anymore, which is wonderful to see. And there are 2 other people in this group that also were close to suicide, which now have a purpose. And one of them is actually a leader for a new project in the same area. So we can see that being outdoors is very, very good. In Vordingborg in Denmark, when a person is getting released from the hospital for the rehab part, they actually goes out with a team, with a nature guide, with a dietist, a nurse, a psychologist, and there is one more of these specialty doctors, that team. And then they do things together for another couple of weeks combined. So they are cooking outdoors with food that is good for, like, if you have a diabetic issue. So they are getting in the nature into all of it. And that is that has been very, very successful in Denmark, yes. So this would have been nice to have in more places. This forest bathing is coming on a bigger level. So in France, they have actually got the first forest certified as a forest bathing forest. And I found a nice poem. It's very short, and I have no idea who has written it because the author is unknown. It's named The Forest. Always there, wherever we are, always waiting for us, wherever we go. And then there is one called Nature. Take care of it, just as it takes care of us. And these are actually quite old, these quotes or poems that I found. Yeah. And that is also why I have the name of my company, Care of Nature. Because we need to take care of the nature when we are outside as well. And when we get to know the nature, we start to take care of it as well. Because if you don't have any relation to the nature, why do you need to take care of it? It's like when you are in a relation with humans. If someone doesn't take care of you, then you don't take care of them. And it's actually the same with the nature. Our lovely Swedish Carl von Linné have a very nice quote that I have somewhere here. And it says, wonder regard everything, even the daily. It's quite nice. If you're a friend to the trees, you're a friend to yourself. It's also a nice quote. It's good for the human to be aware from time to time, to be aware about how little it is compared to the nature. Lin Yutang. William Wordsworth says, nature has never let the heart down that has been loving her. So there are a lot of quotes regarding nature back in time. And the national parks actually started in the US because of the need of keeping nature, because we started to destroy the nature too much. And the natural parks started as a way to rescue the nature, to be honest, in the US. And that we do in Sweden as well now. But a lot later than the US.
We save the nature from us.
Yeah. We need to rescue the nature. Yeah. It's because we make so much damage as a human.
Some of us can do that
Yeah.
because we don't have that relation that you talk about. I mean, it's
No, if you don't have any relation to the nature, you don't care. To be honest. We will.
to get out in the woods and enjoy.
Yeah, and they actually don't need to get out into the woods. Go out to a green area close to you, a park or a big plot of grass. Maybe not a soccer area, but a plot with grass and maybe some water. I really need the water to be around. And we need to drink as well. So I will end this little forest bath session with some tea to use our sense of tasting as the last sense that we are using today.
Can I ask
Yes.
what exactly do the trees for cancer?
Yeah, you can take it in Swedish and I translate.
Nej, men jag tänker vad exakt sänder träden i
Phytoncider.
fytocider?
Yeah. It's good, but for the insects it's not so good.
Är det bättre alltså utan skor och bara liksom
Yeah, the question is it better to be barefoot? Of course it is better to be barefoot. There are some brave individuals that are doing it this time of year as well, but doing it during the summer to let your feet and toes go down into the surface is really good for you to ground. And one of the best way to do a forest bathing is actually to lay on your back, have your legs amongst the tree and look up into the tree. And if you're lucky, you can also feel the movements of the tree through the tree and the roots, because you lie on the roots, and if it is windy, you can really feel it in your body, and that is so calming.
He actually used to ask the tree for permission.
Yeah,
before he-
yeah, you should actually ask for permission before you. Yeah, and
It's a good thing to do.
yeah, of course. I mean, normally you don't hug a human that you have never met, or you normally ask. Even if you're using the word, you ask with your eyes. So we should treat one another in the same way. To say, no, we are not comfortable. We should not be a item. So by taking up the tea, we are saying goodbye. And I hope that you will have a very nice rest of this weekend. And forest is forest.
We are creating the world we're now living in. We are competing in. We are repeating in. We are believing in. It's time for us to shift our mind from best in the world to best for the world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. It creates a new world to mind a shift, intentionality, perceptuality, conceptuality. We are choosing to shift our mind to best for the world, best for our world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional.